Richard.
Yes, sir.
We're going toe to toe with some of the biggest in the business right now being on this live. Did you know that?
Oh man, no idea, man. I'm just a little fish, man.
Damn. What's up? How's business been?
Man, business is pretty good. I mean, we got a couple little projects working, doing some stuff. We got some flips, a couple wholesales. The best one's probably the hotels. Those are the ones we're doing the best right now.
Man, that's my only strategy.
Oh, is it?
It's literally my only strategy. I don't like doing anything else. Now, one deal we have somebody wants to sell us a local property for $55,000. That one's pretty good, mainly because we know it'll rent. But obviously we'll list it out on our finance and see what happens. Dude, how's we were talking offline. You were telling me about some notes. You had some notes going on. Have you been happy with Paper Stack?
Yeah. On one note, but in the other one we're just keeping. This one we had one that we were looking at selling. So we put it on Paper Stack, kind of go through that process. Realistically, we wouldn't set up at the beginning to go the right path. The best bet would have been set it up through an RMLO and then get it backed up. But we had originally were talking about just keeping it and rolling the dice with it, and then said, hey, we'll bring back in some capital. It happened to be in this particular case that the person that picked it up was unable to perform. So, so I was like, well, I guess that's a wholesaler karma. So sales life, man.
Dude, we jumped on a call. So me and Richard jumped on a call, and I was like, nah, bro, that's not right. Like, guy ends up being a scam artist. Now, I don't want that to be. He was trying to probably wholesale that note or broker that note or do something funny with it. But dude, we close the shit out of notes on Paper Stack. It really, really, really opened up so many parts of our business because, for instance, we have a set of notes that we sold owner finance, and the guy never made a payment. So kind of the same deal. We don't have our cost basis is pretty much zero on it.
Perfect.
Guy gets laid off, never makes a payment, and we're like, well, we can't foreclose because of Rona. It's kind of a messed up situation. So let's just throw it on Paper Stack and see what happens. And we sold that note for $14,000. Remember, cost basis zero. Sold it for $14,000. So we're getting $14,000 free cash. It's going to be somebody else's headache. Non-performing note.
Yeah, well, I mean, that sounds awesome. And on that particular note that we were listing, we had 7 other offers, but of course, Paper Stack shuts down that process while you're, in the closing process with the other person. So we're just tied up. So he basically just ate up a lot of our time. But I mean, the deal is easy. I mean, it's we bought the property for $30,000. I put $6,000 into it, sold it for $90,000. They put $30,000 down, so I'm out of pocket $6,000, and it's not a big deal, but we're going to bring back in that capital, go into another project and do some others and just, rinse and repeat a little bit. So we'll pursue the other deals, but it amazed me how quick on that Paper Stack side, how quick the responses were. I hadn't sold anything outside of when I had buy here, pay here lot, and we'd sell a bulk of business. I'd sell 200 notes or 150 notes under that portfolio back then. So those
are on cars.
Yeah, it was on automotive. That was a buy here, pay here business back in 03 to 07. So the process was completely different. It was fax and emails, and I'm not sure Facebook existed yet, but there was MySpace. It was a while ago. Man, so how's business for you, man?
What was the note selling business good on MySpace?
Man, I have no idea, but the music was badass, and everybody had a friend in Tom.
That is true, dude. But what I was going to say, that non-performing note we sold, we didn't have RMLO. So it really, like, there's 2 types of buyers. I told you this on the phone. There's 2 types of buyers. There's ones that are looking at the asset. There's ones that are looking at the borrower, and it's too hard to say where anything is going to land on that side. A guy offered us $25,000 for a note.
Perfect.
And because we were selling him one of ours on Paper Stack. And so we told him about this other one. And he's like, yeah, I'll give you 25,000 for it. And we're like, okay, no problem. And then he kind of started ghosting us when we tried to talk to him about it. So we took that note and put it on paper stack for like 32 or something like that. And that same guy offered us 26 for the exact same note that he originally wanted to buy for 25 and then closed on it.
Perfect.
It's a weird place to hang out. But
I mean, it's no different. I mean, they're kind of like the eBay, so to speak. I mean, they're helping facilitate the process, but it's not their money, their funds. So, they're helping putting everything together. And they've actually, their follow-up was really good. I mean, he had told me, hey, this person's obviously not going to perform. These people that have already responded have success with us. So I would choose one of these people to continue to go with. And I said, okay, man, great. Awesome. So PaperStack was phenomenal in providing support and suggestions as to how to proceed and the best put this deal together. So I was very grateful to them, but they did an amazing job on their part.
Dude, I love it. It's added so much revenue to our business. So much.
It's awesome.
We have one that the cost basis on it is zero, but it's got a $30,000 underlying lien on it. They're buying it for they're buying the note for $90,000. So, I mean, it's going to be tremendous. So, how is everything else going in business?
Man, everything's going pretty good. I mean, the business is a little bit different, maybe. I wouldn't say it's harder or slower or faster or anything. Just a little different process. People are holding tight. Litigation in the right now is a little. People are starting to learn the new loopholes, so we have to navigate around that process. But we've had a couple. I mean, that particular deal, like I said, I mean, we were in and out in Rona. Total turn time between I bought it, sold it was maybe, I don't think from close date to close date was more than 3 weeks. So that deal was pretty fast. Had a couple flips. I started another flip that we bought in there. Got another one under the way. So we'll see how those pan out.
What price point are those at?
Do what?
What price point are those at? Are they at like 300, 200, 100?
Oh man, no. This is this ain't California. This is it's the flip that we're the one I just listed on the MLS is 250,000, so 249,000. The other one I have working on a town outside will go on the market at 115. Should be done maybe another 10 days. They're pretty quick to being ready. We're finishing up the details, putting the blue tape everywhere, so it should be done pretty fast. Then I got another one. It's a little bitty small house. I believe it's 480 square feet on a 0.1 acre lot, so it's just a little bitty shotgun house. So we'll be in and out of that in about 2 weeks. And then I got another one that we're actually wholesaling. So I've spent 2 yard cut days, and that's about the extent of my revenue on that. Just going out there, expenses. I mean, going out there and just cleaning the yard, make it look pretty again. And that deal is actually scheduled to close on the 12th, so that'll be next week. And then he actually is interested in that other lot that we're looking to do. Say, hey, you want to sell this little one too? It just happens to be maybe a block and a half from the other. So we may not actually ever start that other house at all. So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome. I mean, our business lead gen, I wish I'd have paid better attention to it. Had a girl in the office that was kind of training her how to do it. I was in and out running. We got we remodeled 16 units. Now have almost all of them leased. We've done a second remodel of 16 units. So a different 16 units. We're almost wrapping that up this week. So, we remodeled 32 apartments in the last however many months. Sold 2 mobile home parks, owner finance. And we sold one of our apartment complexes to somebody that we know that was in a 1031 exchange. So, we've sold a lot of stuff through Rona. Jen, I had a girl that was training, and I've been cleaning it up the past week. Hired another girl. She's coming in the morning, going to be great. But this stuff has been nuts, man. Like, I literally back on March 5th, we sent text messages in batch stack, R2R batch stack. And they were like, yeah, how much do you want to give me? And the girl pushed it to Podio, but we didn't. Podio, the push thing there wasn't working quite right.
Okay.
So anyways, like I said, I wish I'd have paid better attention to it, but I'm going back and firing up those conversations like,
sure.
Hey, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's August 5th. I'm good. Let's go. Who wants to work?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fun part of the business is getting engaged with the sellers, engaged with the buyers on that side too. Really generating that deal, turning something that is nothing. Like this one particular house, I posted in the thread. I don't know if y'all read it, but she originally was asking for $16,000. She's like, well, somebody offered me. Well, actually, she wasn't. She had said somebody had offered me 12. Someone offered me 16, and I said, okay, well, what do you want to do? She goes, well, I feel like it's worth 22. I said, okay, well, where do you get that number? She goes, well, that's what the city just appraised. I said, okay, awesome. Well, let's go take a look at it. So I sent it over there and I said, hey, I just sent a message. How long has it been since we've been here? And she goes, well, about 3 years. And there shouldn't be anything in there, is there? And I said, well, let me just send you some photos. So her response was, I don't remember verbatim, but more along the lines of, holy shit, that's gross. Just tear it down. Can you do anything with it? And I'm not going to say what number I bought it at just in case the guy I'm selling it to sees it, but, it didn't have a comma. So let's go with that. So, I was like, well, there you go.
I remember that one. I know what you paid for it. You gave me the HUD.
No, this one is brand new. We just did it just a couple days ago.
So you bought 2 houses in the last 4 months without commas.
I buy a house. Without comma. Yeah. I had that one. That was a good while ago. Then we did. And I tell you the one actually maybe the happiest. It's I felt the biggest win on was a house that this house is just short of 2,000 square feet in the middle of the city. Good house to the left, good house to the right. These are not high-end homes. ARVs are about 120, 130. But they're good size homes. And then so we put this deal together, and that one we contracted that one at $5K. So. It was, and then I just told the guy, I'm like, look, man, what do you think this house worth? He goes, well, man, they're selling, you got to be able to at least get like $60,000. I said, okay, no problem. I said, well, here's the issue I'm running into. I spend about $30 per square foot to do the home. I said, so how about this? I'll put up half the money to do the rehab. You put up half the money to do the rehab, and we'll split it when we sell it. And he's like, oh man, I can't do that. I said, well, what do you just do? I said, I don't want to make you an offer because we're not going to be friends, and ultimately, well, just give me a number. And I told him $5,000. He goes, did you say 6? And I go, nope, I said 5. And then you got to cover your closing fees. He goes, all right, let's just get this damn thing done. If you don't ask, you don't get, man.
And
so those are some of the big wins. And, on the flip side, though, I had another deal. I had to pay $10 to get through the closing. So that sucked. but, you don't, I'd make sure not to fail. It's, or follow through with my commitment anyway. So that hurt my heart, though.
I see this all the time. People are like, oh man, sellers need the most money. I'm like, well, if sellers needed the most money, they would put it on MLS. Yeah.
No, then usually it's time.
No, they need a guaranteed close.
Yeah.
They need a guaranteed close. That's what they need.
And that particular guy that we did the $5,000, he had a few. I don't know what that number translates to, 2, 3, 5, or just one guy that had not been able to perform for whatever reason. They contracted, or he had a verbal agreement with some other guy, and it just didn't happen. So at the end, when I finally came on board, I'm like, whoa. I'm just being honest. I mean, look, I'm going to spend just about as much money as you're telling me this house is worth. Wasn't what I thought it was worth, but it's what he thought it was worth. So we used his number. So it was in that case, it made sense. But if you don't have the conversation, you don't talk to him, you don't get anywhere. So I just tried to talk to him and see what happened, and we were able to put that deal under contract, and so that one will work out well. So we've had a few nice ones.
I've got one right now that we're working on. Ladies in California, her husband, we don't know where he is. We ain't found him yet.
Okay.
Allegedly, I got to drive by there. I was going to do it today, but I'm going to do it tomorrow instead. She's not seen the house in like 8 years.
Okay.
And so she's like, yes, I absolutely want to sell. We're like, okay, how much do you want? She's like, $40,000.
Okay.
That's because I did my research. That's what it's worth. And I'm like, okay, cool. What's the story on it? And then that's when she said she hadn't seen it in 8 years, and her husband owns half of it, and we don't know where he is.
That's
and
always
I'm gonna drive by it and look. If the house is vacant, it's vacant. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's not vacant, if it is sitting there and it is occupied, I guess, then it's probably the ex-husband. And the next thing we're gonna do from there is going to be real simple. We're going to go back to her and say, hey, we'll give you $2,000 for your half of the house.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
And that's it. Here's $2,000. Sign a deed over to us. We'll take it. From there, we'll deal with him. We'll come to him with, we own half your house.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And you'll be able to do something with it. He'll leverage it. And sometimes it may just be that he doesn't want her to win. You don't know. I mean, you have that conversation. Oh, y'all got it now. Okay, that's fine. I just need to go away. Or it could not be that way, but hopefully it'll go through nice and smooth.
No, I hope so. And title issues wear me out. They wear me out big time. I'm, we're dealing with title issues right now where a guy owner financed a house. The woman he bought it from passed away 3 weeks ago because of Rona.
Oh.
Rona hadn't affected my business until then, and now it has. And now she's got to sign a lien release. She's deceased. She can't do it. We're having to get her heirs together to sign a lien release. It's just a situation. Speaking of Rona, you had it.
Yeah, I did. It sucked.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, I'm in a business, and my previous business had been engaging with people so much. So I'm used to being involved with people, talking to people, having conversations, doing that. So then I was in basic, lockdown for 2 weeks, and I was like, man, this is why I spent my whole life following the rules, because I didn't want to end up like this. So it was. For me, I was blessed. I was very blessed that it was not a terminal type situation at all. For whatever reason, the Rona people were kind to me. I just had a fever. I was very tired though. I was sleeping where I normally sleep 4 to 6 hours a day. I was sleeping a solid 11 to 12, which was really strange because I'd never done that before. So, or maybe when I was a teenager, but it worked out well. But it ate up a lot of time. So. I ended up listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of ebooks. Yeah. I'm like, well, if I'm going to be sick, I better learn something. So it's I've knocked out a handful of books. I try my best to knock out 2 or 3 a week, but it doesn't always happen. Some of them are 2 or 3 hours long, so you should spend that time learning. But it was not fun, mostly because the paranoia. Everybody, well, what if you give it to so and so? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I've never spent my life stressing so hard about stuff that hadn't happened yet.
Well, what did your family get it?
No. I had a friend of mine that actually a partner of ours on a couple of deals, and he had it and his wife had it, and we hang out a lot. So I assumed that we had gotten it from there, or had gotten it from the same people that we were dealing with that just never mentioned it. Just said, hey, we got the flu, we'll work through it. I mean, we got 4 crews that are out on different properties, so it's who knows, could come there. We don't know the source. It doesn't matter, but the real goal was just getting through that time. And I did not know how long 2 weeks was. Really, Dude,
that's crazy. So you didn't give it to anybody in your whole house?
No. I quarantined myself in my room. So, I was in here, just like, well, I'll stay here. And that was the extent of that. So
I heard that it's so contagious. If you get crop dusted by somebody, if somebody farts and you breathe it in, you got the Rona.
Well, I mean, in my life, I've done a lot of sales pitches, and sometimes you got to sell the sizzle. So if there's a profit to be made from that information coming across that way, I'm sure somebody, Pfizer, somebody is going to make a good bit of dollar spinning that, however they want to phrase that. But in my reality is that out of everybody I know, while they were legitimately sick for a week, and it sucked. None of them were terminal. We had one person who did go to the hospital in the area that we do pass. We know a judge, and that is unfortunate. But there are for the majority of the people that have ran into big issues, we found from our own circle and network that it's been underlying other issues. So, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know. It's just my opinion, my experience. My experience is it was fairly irrelevant and to them as well. But we did have it, and that was just part of the process. But the good news is, the best part is, my phone still works, my YouTube still works, my Facebook still works, my podcast still work, my text messaging still works, my batch leads still work, my paper stack still works. So why isn't your ass working? It says, well, you don't have the Rona and you ain't done shit. So let's so now what? What do you do? Yeah. Like,
I'm
not you, but
I can even get the Rona. I think I should have done had it by now.
Yeah, it's. I honestly feel like the reason it might have been not that bad is back in September, I had gone to the hospital and they didn't know what it was. They ended up finding out I had some other issues, actually blood clots and a pulmonary embolism, which they treated, but that was a separate issue. But I had flu-like symptoms, but didn't test positive for flu. I had low O2 intake. They said, well, you should be at 99 on your O2. You're in the 80s, which is definitely way low. 95 apparently is a low number. And but they didn't know what the problem was. So they came in there for a couple of days. Thinners do their thing. They said, okay, you're cool. Go back home. Maybe that was possible. I had that back then, and then had some type of protective antibodies for that. I don't know. My business is in the hustle of money, not in the medical field. So so I don't know. I can only speak from my experience. For me, I felt like the good Lord had other things for me to do, and He wanted me to focus on those things and use that. And I needed that time to get additional rest and fine tune some skills. So that's what we spent that energy and time on.
Dude, that's awesome. Like, I'm just glad. How have your rentals done through this? I mean, I know you posted that you couldn't evict because they.
Oh my God! For the most part, everybody's been pretty good. We had one lady, and she actually hadn't paid since December. We took over the property in February, and of course, March rolls around right after. So we're just like, okay, we'll deal with that. Let's figure it out. What can we do to work it out? Well, Rona hit right then. We hadn't come to resolution. As soon as she finds out that she doesn't have to leave, I mean, she knew the information before I think the Congress made the decision. She had told me, and I wish I could put up the screenshot of the text message, but she said, Trump says I don't have to pay for 6 months. I ain't going anywhere. And I was like, well, oh well. Anyhow. Again, the powers that be above, whatever that is, they it ended up being that CPS needed her and some other people needed her, and a lot of other folks were leaving. So she decided to leave on her own accord, and we were able to go ahead and take that property. And that's actually one of the flips that we're doing right now. So it's and that was a heck of a deal. I mean, she was supposed to be gone before we took possession, but. We're like, well, at that time, Rona wasn't a thing, So we're like, well, she's paying, we'll figure it out. And I mean, we got it such a good deal that there's no reason to walk away regardless. We'll figure it out. That ended up being some time because what are we in August? This should have been wrapped up in March. But we probably would have had that home flipped by May, under normal circumstances. But that was a big headache issue. The others, I mean, we had a couple of people that, got a little slow, but they've caught up. I mean, the majority of the properties we're in are a little less than A tier. They're not class A's. So the people on fixed incomes, they're getting the same $1,800 they've gotten for the last 3 years. So their life hasn't changed any. So, they've paid, they've handled, they've done well. And then some of the other tenants have done good. We've had a couple of people that are like, hey, I can only do this, but wasn't any different than before when they were telling us the same thing. Hey, I'm broke, give me another couple of weeks. We're not a disproportionate amount. So we've been very blessed that, I guess a polite way, they're so poor they don't know the difference. It's the same. So we've been fortunate with those. But on our single families, little different.
Really?
Yeah. On the single family rentals, they're a little bit more difficult, but but everybody currently that we still have on board is current and paying, and we're good to go. I'm sure the news telling them that about 126 million people might be evicted might have something to do with it, but we'll see.
We only lost 8 tenants because of Rona.
Oh, that's good. Wait, how many? You got 300, right?
250.
250. Okay.
Rentable units. We're selling a lot of those, but we're staying on to do the property management, so we'll still have the same amount. I mean, I think we're going to lose 15 units, but I'm really, really, really kind of shocked, I guess, at how well it went. But there, all the talking there about what's going to happen next. I mean, it'll make you apprehensive. If you're buying at a certain price point. At the price point I buy at, I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Banks are still lending money right now, so my big cautionary tale is we're getting most of our refinances done and through. Got a $600,000 credit line from 21st Mortgage to buy more mobile homes with, to infill parks. So we're kind of rocking and rolling right now.
Oh, that's a best.
As we continue into election season, I think things have the subject to get weird. So we're gonna be liquid going into the winter, and if we're still got any liquidity left, if we'll make it out the other side, we might have serviced a bunch of debt and paid for a bunch of squatters. If predictions come true, but man, I think the people that I've seen a lot of people at the beginning of this that were trying to set it out, and I'm like, man, y'all missed out on some opportunity because we the deals that we were able to sell this summer, we bought during the middle of this bullshit. And if you couldn't there was fewer people looking to sell, and the noise was so loud that if you could just talk to them, they knew that they would probably never be able to sell again, so they were willing to give it away. So
yeah. Yeah, and you should never be afraid to have the conversation. I mean, a no's a no, but not asking is a guaranteed no. I'd rather have a 1% chance than a 0% chance, and this means I got to talk to 100 people instead of an infinite amount.
I mean, I've seen people just fucking off, and I was like,
yeah.
I couldn't fuck off. If I'd have just been wholesaling and flipping, if that would have been my main. If I didn't have any rentals, I'd have been fucking off too.
Yeah.
But the rentals, people just kept paying. It was like, yeah, they're still paying. Like, this is good. This is going to work out all right. So it is what it is. We'll take our time off like we do every year. Go elk hunting.
Oh, nice. I haven't been to elk hunting ever. A lot of deer. No elk.
It's work. I just go up there because my friends are there. It's just fun to be there. This year we're going to be staying in a cabin on the place, not showering. That I guess take a lot of powder and just keep powdering your ass and hope you don't get like I'm going to find some water somewhere to get into. There's a spring that runs down at the bottom, but I mean, that's what everybody drinks downhill.
But you just bring the bag, go fill up a bag with the water, put it up overhead, hang it up on a tree and make yourself a shower.
I don't know. I'm like, there's one way up the mountain. There's a pond up there, but I don't think you want to get in it. I'm like, I'll be in that bitch. I'm telling you right now. I don't want to be dealing with an itchy asshole. Like, that's not my idea of vacation. You know what I mean? Like, this is my vacation. I don't want to have an itchy booty hole from not washing it.
No kidding. Man, how things have changed since when we were teenagers and whatnot. Like, man, I don't care, man. We're going to go. We're going to be gone all week. It's going to be awesome. Now you're like, hey, I have a process and a daily routine.
I like to take a bath every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's a mud hole on the side of a mountain, I want to rinse my body with water. But if it starts raining, I'll just be out there naked in it.
Yeah, that's the best, man. Well, good. I hope you have an awesome time, man. That sounds pretty amazing. I've never hunted outside of Texas, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I always hit up Andrew Wholesale, but he hunts up in the northern part of the state. We're down in the southern part of the state, so kind of a different deal. But man, we're rocking and rolling. So
Lead gen. What do you are you on my batch affiliate link?
I don't think so. I don't think I am. I don't know why, but I'll connect it here in a minute. And really, I mean, most of my stuff is pretty low key, but I love the plug. That was good work.
I'm just shamelessly plugging R2RBatchStack.com for those that want on the batch affiliate that want to support the channel. Dude, I really have been really good luck with it though.
You need to put it on the banner down below.
What, dude? Let me show you. I'll put it on the banner.
Well, I'm talking about for the deal. I mean, see, I'm still just sort of pocket listing most of my stuff. Hey, my best friend, how y'all doing? What y'all got? I get a lot of word of mouth leads now, but I also every single thing that I buy or put under contract, I put a big metal sign in their yard too. That gets me a little extra bonus leads.
Let me show you this. This is an $80,000 house. I'm gonna read you the conversation.
I like it.
It's $80,000 as is.
20 G's right now. What you got?
As it sits. $80,000 as is.
Good.
The conversation goes, what would you take for blank? I'm sick of Oklahoma. So here's one of the marketing strategies I've been using. I've been buying numbers from outside of Texas.
Okay.
And texting people in Texas.
Yeah.
Acting like I'm trying to move to Texas.
Perfect. I like it.
They said, who is this? And then I gave them a friend's name because I don't want to get caught up in some bullshit. So I gave them a friend's name.
You just got out of some. That's good.
Yeah. She said, how do you know about my house in blank? And I said, public record, looking at stuff on the CAD. That's my canned answer every time. How do you know?
Yeah. I had one of those yesterday. The answer was, I got it from the great and powerful Google.
Damn.
He was laughing. Just for the LOL. I was like, hey, it's what it is.
Dude, remember, $80,000 house.
Okay, $80,000.
Living in it right now, and I'm in the process of moving out. Once she gets moved, I'll assess the work that needs to be done before I sell it.
Okay.
We will buy it as is if you'd like. As is, I'd want $35,000.
Okay. Boom. Yeah. Did you post that one? I feel like I read that.
I did a little bit of it. But anyways, her daughter's been moving out this whole time. So this is back on July 24th. Yesterday, how did the move go? Because she kept every time I tried to re-engage her, she kept telling me that her daughter was still moving. And anyways, I asked her how the move went yesterday, and she said she's still working on it. So that's the kind of conversation you can have. Another one, $50,000 for $100,000, $135,000 house. Anyways, this one here, duplex. Both sides are rented for $1,900 a month. $140,000 is the lowest they'll go. Just a great little way to chip away. But the best part is, since it's text message, you don't have to pay attention to it the whole time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just bang, 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 bang. Go work the rest of your day, do a little interview, whatever, and then come back an hour later, see who needs a reply. Bang, 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 bang. It's that initial wave that's hard.
Yeah. Breaking through the who are you. Yeah. Yeah.
So now the way they've got it set up, you can pull the whole list out. And then I'll pull the whole list out and I'll RVM them in REI Black Book. So let me read some of these text messages to you in REI Black Book, because when they call the number, so I leave them a voicemail, and REI Black Book acts kind of like my call rail.
Yeah.
So they call that number back. And when they call that number back, it sends them a text message automatically. So this response came in. I see a missed call from you. What's the address of the property you were calling about? Bam, address. How much do you want? $80,000. When can I see it? Front door should be open.
Yeah, I love those.
So every single one of these, and I put this up today. People are responding. 190,000. 607 blank street. 701 East blank street. Who is this? You called about my properties. I don't know. You've been calling me about a couple of my properties. Right now, we're okay. I will keep your number. After speaking with my wife, we might consider selling if the offer was enough. Front door should be open.
That's a done deal.
1030 Blank Parkway.
Okay.
489 Blank Run. You know, I mean, it's just like over and over. I'll take 100,000 cash. So after we filter it down using batch to the no's, to the maybes, to the whatever. Once they quit responding to us, then we hit them with an RVM, and they come back alive in this system, and this system will follow up with them automatically. We haven't set it up yet, but we know somebody. Ryan Moore uses it. Have you ever used that Black Book?
Am I on? No, I'm not in my rehab book.
We just use it as a bootleg CRM. We are the most unorganized people ever when it comes to this stuff, and I feel like with proper attention and give a fuck, we could do 10 deals a month wholesale. Actually, I don't want to wholesale. I'm lying. I don't want to do any of that shit. I just want to take the couple of million in private capital we got to deploy it, let the agent sell it, and be up hunting or doing whatever. Not have to fuck with this shit. Lead gen's fun, but I couldn't imagine being a slave to it.
Yeah, every single day. But that's why you set up a team in place where they get to help perform at that level.
The lead gen team, the management team there is it's not bad to manage, but all of our guys, when Rona hit, they all quit.
Well, that's okay. There's more people who want to learn and want to make money.
I'm sad about it. Like, I'm sad. I take it personal. Like, I love those guys. I want them to succeed. The fact that they quit on me makes me sad. Spoonie is the only one left. Spoonie is yesterday.
When they quit on you, they left the door open for you to find somebody who wants to perform at that position at a higher level. You're not going to find that person if somebody's blocking that path by sitting there not performing. So if they want to move out of the way, it opens up the door for you to find somebody who's going to perform at the level that you deserve to pay. So when people leave, I never worry about it. I mean, it sucks he lost that friendship, but they'd already made that decision. And so even if you talk them into staying, it's in their mind. So they're going to continue to drop in quality. You free that time up, let them go on, do their path, wish them the best, help them if you can, and then find somebody who wants to perform at a higher level and get on to that next phase. So then you end up finding now you have a team that wants to be here. Everybody's starting to get more synergistic. Everybody's working together. You're finding a way to make the team more cohesive. And now they're building together, growing together, learning together, and ultimately performing at a level that brings that revenue.
My goal is to do 20 deals a year. 20.
Okay. 20. Big fat money.
Average $100,000 per deal.
That would do it. That would be good.
That's my goal.
Uh-huh.
You can't reach that goal doing $100,000 assignments, $100,000 assignments going to be hard. But I doubt I make that goal either. You know what I mean? But I'll probably still do 40 deals a year and average 10,000. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? And that's all you really need to do to have a real comfortable life. And I'm not even talking about from the side of things, the if you're buying rentals with all the money you're making, if you're not spending it on bullshit, if you're parking it into more real estate, I mean, look up if 5 years has gone by. And then you look at what comes into the bank account every single month, and you're like, that's fucking crazy. It's insane that we collect $130,000 a month in rent. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
That is nuts. That is insane. It's insane that we collect fucking $26,000 a month in owner finance notes. It's crazy. It's absolutely insanity. So do it that way. Don't look up, and you'll see. You know what I mean? There's this business is a good business, and so far through this recession, we'll see how the rentals fare, we'll see how the notes fare, and we'll see how the buying and reselling fares. But I think the biggest thing that we've done in the last 5 years is make enough connections to have enough money to go on a buying spree if there is such a thing that appears. That's what I think.
And I think there will be. I think there's going to be a lot. It's going to have to shake loose. Eventually, the courts are going to have to open back up. Things are going to change. They can't hold it at bay forever. So the piper's going to have to get paid. So and once that reality hits, the people who are prepared, they will weather the storm, and the people who weren't, well, that they're going to have to make some changes, and that's the process. So, my wonder where is the bank's involvement down the line, and then if there's going to be a government bailout to start buying out some of that real estate from them, and an effort for an emergency fund of some kind. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah,
I seen a graph of deposits at the bank.
Yeah,
and it went like this.
Yeah,
this little hill.
Yeah,
was $2 trillion. The deposits at the bank rose by $2 trillion. That's insane. So banks have the ability, and they lowered the deposit requirements for banks down to they used to they had to have $1 in the bank for every $10 they loaned out.
Because fractional banking.
Now they got to have $0.25 in the bank for every $9 they loan out. Tell me they can't print money.
Yeah. I mean, they needed to do something like that to keep the same, the ROI the same when the rates drop down to the 2%, 2.74, whatever.
I'm already seeing the inflation at the restaurants, but they got to do it. Restaurants have to raise their prices because if you can only take 50% of the people in, you can only sell half as much food. People are going to have to pay twice as much for it.
Yeah, I have noticed that too. Yeah, prices are going up, and a lot of them have just posted, "Hey, the prices are going up extra per dollar." So not even hiding it. They'll show it up on the receipt. There's a COVID fee of an extra $3. And then a lot of the smaller restaurants around here have shut the doors and just gone drive-through only. That's just it. So I don't know how that's working out for them. I hope well, but they're still there. And those lines are long.
I used to eat at this one restaurant, and I'd get the biggest steak they had, and it was $30 for me to eat it.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So it's a $30 meal. I still eat there every time I go to that town, and now it's a $46 meal. That price went up $16 because of Rona.
Wow.
That's what inflation looks like. Now, do I stay $16 higher forever? No, but I don't know what the cost of beef is. But I do know that if you're servicing debt, that's a constant. You know what I mean? And if you can only sell, a smaller percentage of what you could sell because the government has intervened, you got to get it somewhere. They're smart raising their prices. I'm not blaming them. It's a lot better than selling it at a loss and then getting to the end of the month and going, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody likes paying more until there's nobody to pay. And when you can't go eat anywhere, then you start panicking. Which I don't like paying more money, but at the same time, I can't cook that stuff. So it's like I can eat the heck out of it, but it's just a fact of life. I mean, it's going to cost more than they're going to have to move it. We had the same debate when they were talking about change the minimum wage. I'm like, well, just because you change on the lower number, I don't know how much y'all work with businesses, but you usually do a compensation by percentage, not dollar amount. So if I'm at 30% compensation and you double my expenditure and it goes from 30 to 60, now my sell price is going to double, so I still stay in 30%. So it doesn't make any difference. We're going to keep the guidelines in line.
The customers always pay the cost of any tax, any incurred cost. I'm not mad at the business. I mean, the business is the business.
If you were, you wouldn't be eating that $46 plate.
It was just an observation that I was like, man, it cost me $16 more to come in here. That's the fastest. I saw the velocity of money during COVID. Okay, so Rona hit. And we were all worried that we were going to go bankrupt, Okay. It was like, all right, nobody's ever going to pay rent again. This is it. They just came out on the national news and said no more evictions. This is over. The game is up. Nobody has the cash reserves to float this. Then they're like, oh, we're going to give you some money. Then you couldn't get access to the system. You applied, but then you couldn't hear nothing. And then boom, the velocity of money from the government's hands, from the government's clutches to the people after they actually got that law signed, it was there in weeks. Now, unemployment didn't make it there fast, but those loans were there. There was no barrier, almost no barrier in between you and that money. People that had never done any amount of business were getting $200,000 of government cheese into their bank account.
Yes.
And so that velocity money showed up fast. The result of shutting down restaurants and limiting business, those prices, they showed a change that fast too. So the velocity money came, and then all of a sudden there was a nice price increase. Rent, I don't know that rent's going to be able to go up that fast, but once the other thing, the shortage of supplies. Have you noticed at the supply store all of a sudden?
Yes, on a lot of our remodels, on the multifamilies or whatnot, I went to a big box chain, a nice orange building, and they told me, well, you can. I said, what do you have in stock? Well, we don't have anything. I said, okay, well, how long does it take but you can have it delivered. I said, okay, well, how long does that take? Well, September 15th. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, man. I got to wait 45 days for a maybe, just for some things. I mean, we're at that particular purchase was for some, just a regular kitchen things. I needed a oven and a microwave, et cetera. And all of it was a 45-day wait. And that's tentative. They may not still make it at that time. So we had to resource. I mean, those kind of things. Our lumber, fortunately here is not an issue, but a lot of the other supplies, I mean, cleaning supplies, smaller things were out now. Those things are starting to recover. Paint's still doing good, but some of our bigger items are gone. And the answer is, well, they can't make them. This factory shut down, that factory shut down, so nobody can. They're not coming. So we have actually run into that, and on some items we've stocked up a little bit to provide that barrier or buffer.
I tried to buy something, and it was deliver date October, and I was like, never mind.
I need it today. I come in, we've gotten accustomed to just downloading it on our phone, and it appears from space from Amazon. I need it.
So some of that stuff has gotten kind of ridiculous. The prices have gone up. We had trouble finding all the same. We had to go to 3 different Home Depots to get enough shingles to do one apartment roof. It's like, what's this happen?
That's exactly where we were, and they have that. I guess that one warehouse per region or so, and once that's depleted, that's what they got. So they got to wait till that restocks in, and those fill back up, and they'll filter down to the stores. But it's going to take some time for that supply line to fill up. And then I'm sure everything will get back up there, but. Those are things that are going to pop up down the line. I mean, there was a run on toilet paper, but there's no shortage. There's plenty of that stuff still around. They took, some people hoarded it, but there was plenty. But some of the other supplies are not being built. So once they're purchased, they're not being made anymore. So until those factories open back up, you're stuck. So you got to get it at some point. Those prices will increase because the supply and demand's there, and like, well. You want this $2,000 stove or not? It's it's I bought it for $600 last year. That was last year.
We got a stove that we ordered that's still in. It's a thinner stove. So
you have a cabinet depth stove. So for the tighter spaces. That's you're going to run into those kind of challenges, and that business shows up later in the deal. People have already calmed down to think, okay, this is over. I just got to slide a piece of cloth over my mouth and we're okay. But they don't understand the chain of how things get to their front door, where it came from, how that job that they're doing, how that pays for somebody else to do their job, and those shoes that they wear came from a warehouse, a factory, et cetera, et cetera. And somebody had to build it. So we'll see how that all plays out over time. I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm wondering too. I wonder what ends up coming of all this, because if the meat packing plants were having the big outbreaks at the beginning, and it's because it's cold in meat packing plants, and everybody was like, I can't figure out why all the meat packing plants get it. And I'm like, well, because one guy gets it and then he goes in there and it's fucking cold. It spreads to everybody. It's not hard. Like, if you haven't been to one, it's cold in there. Dead things can't get hot.
Yeah.
The virus spreads in colder weather. Mo better. That's how it works. So this winter, when the hysteria surrounding it, you've already survived it maybe twice. So, I think I had it back in October, but nobody will believe me. So I can't get an antibody test. But I've been around some real skanks, some real skanks. And I've never caught a lot of things. So Rona, I mean, I feel like I could drink it in my sweet tea and I'll be all right. But I don't know. I don't want to get cocky with it, because I know y'all gonna be roasting my ass, because you'll be like, Corey was on podcast talking shit. Week later, Rona whacked him.
Yeah,
that's the case. I want this played at my fucking funeral. You heard it?
Yeah, I mean, the mathematics are still, what they are. I mean, even assuming that the numbers are 100% accurate, you're looking at a 1%, which is, that is a real number and a tangible amount of real lives, and that's a terrible thing. But in the scheme of other illnesses and other issues, the percentages are not as strong. So it's got a fairly low fatality rate, but the issue is you don't know what the issue is going to be. That it hasn't been around long. We know what the flu does. We know how people are going to respond in general. There is a high loss of life, but you know how to play the flu game, so to speak. On the COVID side, we'll see how as people get more accustomed to what that process is and what the issues are, that they'll that nervousness will calm down, and we'll go on to doing whatever's next, and we'll go back to being at war with somebody for whatever reason, whatever we need to do to generate revenue for the government. So
I believe that to a certain extent, but it's like, right now at this point, I don't give a fuck what the vaccine costs or how many. Wait let me if my dick falls off, the vaccine don't work no more. Anything else I'll take.
Yeah, as long as that works, right?
But I mean, it's like people are like, you ain't injecting that poison into me. I'm like, I'd damn near let you put anything in me right now, just so I could go back out. There's shit I didn't even do that I want to go do. You know what I mean? I ain't been to a country concert in forever. I just want to go to one. I ain't been to a comedy club in forever. I just want to go to one.
And and some of those things are some of the things that positive that have come out of this thing. It's and nobody really talks about those, but families have had to learn to work and cope together a little bit more. They were tighter knit. They couldn't just hide and run away to work, school, their friends. They had to learn to address whatever issues they were having and reconnect those bonds, which they haven't been forced to do in 20 years. So, technology has taken that away. Communities have had to learn to work together, on some degree, saying, hey, I got this supply, you got that. Let me help you out with that. Employers have had to be more engaged with their employees on a day-to-day basis. Hey, I wish that I could carry this weight, but I can't. We've got to work together, where those conversations were completely absent a year ago.
It had to get better. Everybody was really good at wholesaling before Rona. Now, the ones that are really good at wholesaling are still wholesaling. The other ones are sipping on EIDL money. Now, the other thing, here's this. Probably going to get ran off the internet for saying, what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But, I mean, think about overall as we had it, right? Like, think about how good we had it. We were in fucking Vegas.
We were
in fucking Vegas.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And acting like we didn't have a care in the world, like the world was never going to end and everything else. And then we had to fucking humble ourselves and realize that everything that we had projected, how high and how good we felt coming out of GrowthCon.
Yeah.
Right in the fucking dick, and all had to get back to fucking work and bust our ass off just to get the meager little bit that was out there to get.
Well, I agree with you, but I also look at it as to look how many half-assers got pushed out. During that contraction, the weak ones, they're gone. They couldn't handle it.
They were going to be gone anyways. They were just going to have some fake confidence going in because and not look. I mean, it's a fucking grind, and I love it, but most people aren't cut out for what. Everything is a job, and most people don't want a job, and so it just ends up being, this will work too. No, tell you what else I got reintroduced to. Sugary Card, 30 pounds of weight. I brought that back in my life. I was I watched Tiger King and fucking ate Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tart. I've been a Pop-Tart forever. And I love to eat, so that has definitely been a challenge. That I actually noticed when I left the automotive. My meals were pretty regimented because time was tight, so I would eat better. Now, I had to get 2 scales. It's unfortunate,
Hey.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me put these comments up. Here we go.
You guys make me all puffy down there. Good golly.
Oh shit. This is great.
Damn.
This is I'm glad this worked out.
And all this time I thought I was ugly as homemade soap. Y'all making my day.
Vitamin P.
That's it. What was that? Oh man! Wow, it's I don't know who this Moon Princess lady is, but thank you.
The old vitamin P, man.
That's it. I mean, that's the what man, what was that song? You down with OPP? That's. Don't worry, I can't give. Hey, don't worry either. I went to the chop shop a long time ago. Dry ice and scissors. We got it handled.
This shit's wild. My ovaries are deceased.
Oh man.
My ovaries are deceased.
Oh wow.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
Your wife is not going to let you get on here anymore.
Oh man, she'll probably take the screenshots and laugh. Hey.
Wow. All right. Well, she's whoever. This is probably a 40-year-old dude watching us, trolling the fuck out of us, but they don't know. I'll slide in the DM.
I just talked to him the other day.
Damn. This is too much. I don't know what a beer soaked pool table.
Well, see that right there. That tells me that
we're dealing with a man.
Yeah, that's yeah. Either that, or you're about to get a serious pegging. I don't know what's about to happen.
Dude. This is great. Well, what else you got, Richard? Before we head out.
Oh man. Well, now I just feel feel a little bit better about the day. Thank you for making me laugh. I mean, really, I mean, your base is much higher than mine, of course. But I mean, I would just say, man, whatever you're sitting on the fence and debating about, whoever's sitting there listening that might be hearing that's like, hey, I'm good at this, but this isn't my thing. I mean, either pay somebody to do it that is good at it, or learn. Go out there and learn how to fix those little challenges, and then don't be afraid to learn something new. I mean, I left a really good career, and changed games at 40 years old. Just said, hey, this is a better path for me. I want to figure it out. I have a good knowledge based on one part, but it's completely new. I mean, I learn stuff every single day. Screw up stuff, get yelled at, don't matter. It doesn't hurt my feelings because as long as the comments keep coming, I'll be all right. It's I ain't got pride, but I got leverage. So let's rock and roll. But get after it and learn. And another little thing, if you got time to watch a marathon on Netflix, and I'm talking to you, I know you can hear me, whoever that is, then you got time to listen to an audiobook. And you're one of those too. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, I watch some, and then I watch some dumb stuff. But I have to remember, if I can hop on there and watch 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours of stuff, I mean, that's 2 or 3 books that can teach me how to do something. I learned how to wholesale from probably 8 hours of YouTube videos to get started. So if you can change your entire career and just from watching some videos and getting after it and having a little bit of balls, and you can learn something. Use your time, man. You got one shot. So do something badass with it, because once it happens, you're gonna be like, damn, I should have started this X number of years ago. We'll start now, not tomorrow, not in the morning, right now.
I drive. I drive a lot, and that's been the biggest improvement of my life. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's been the biggest improvement of my life is taking that time when I drive and listen to audiobooks. I just started listening to The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck again, and there's never been a time that it's been more relevant than right now. Yeah. Like I'm like, oh man, this would melt some snowflakes. They would not be happy about this book. So I'd recommend anybody getting that one. Obviously 10X Rule. Yeah. I got that up somewhere. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Boom. There we go. Yeah. I'm not good with my reverse camera. Yeah. I read it. I started listening to it again before Rona, and was going through it. His other book, Sell or Be Sold. Not Sell or Be Sold. That one's all right. I mean, it's a sales book, and it's his first book, so it's kind of repetitive, and it's good, but it's not as ground earth changing. But the one that helped me most during Rona was If You're Not First, You're Last. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That book absolutely killed the game for me, because it was like, dude, we can take more effort. I mean, even the stuff we're doing right now with tenants, we are all over tenants' ass right now to get them a list. Look at there. There you go. Phil Knight? What'd you read about Phil Knight? It's a Phil Knight book. Oh yeah, there you go. So this is the shoe dog. So and big money, man. $12.99. So I don't want to hear it's a big issue. I mean, these are just a handful. I got a million, a whole bunch on Audible. But I mean, reading's important. I mean, it's you have to learn different things, and you have to do it all the time. So, and you don't know that little bit of knowledge. Another little thing I'd recommend, even though it seems repetitive, is listen to the book, let it be in your mind, and then maybe listen to another book, then go back to that book you just did and start paying a little bit more attention, because you heard it all, but your brain didn't know what it was. So you hear it the second time and you start applying it. You're like, oh yeah. I started catching on that, picking on that. So whereas I would try to burn through like a book a day for a while, I would had to change it up. Like, man, I'm not really bringing the content in. Let me absorb it a little bit better. Let me read it and then start applying it and applying that knowledge. Because it makes a difference. What is this? I did things I wouldn't force on a mule. I'm going with this is one of your buddies, man. I'm looking for the person screenshotting this in the R2R page saying, look what I did. I did things I wouldn't force on a mule, and that includes things I forced on a mule. I'm thinking Blake, Spoon,
You're hobby. Which one of y'all? You know. But I was all excited in the beginning. Now I realize it's all funny games. That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
I was like, man, this is going to be a good time. As soon as Rona's up, this will be a party. Nah, it's just another 40-year-old dude fucking with a couple of 40-year-old dudes.
That's it. You know, oh man. But yeah, it's I would definitely get out there, have fun, learn something, and do it. Don't be afraid. I mean, at whatever level, if you're a $10 million business, or like in your case, you're like, well, I can do 40 deals, or I can do 20. Well, fuck it, do 60 and make the $2.5 million, $2.6 million. You know, it's.
I'm not money motivated. It's so weird for people, but.
How much freedom would $2.6 million give you? Would you have enough money to hire a staff to not have to do anything again?
Maybe,
okay.
But it's not even for all of that. All of that shit is whatever. Like I've got my friends and I've got my family, and they're the same people, and I just want what they want. I want. I just want to do. I just want to get to work. You know, I get laid off from the oil field. I dated a woman that made $500,000 a month. And she passed away. And she didn't have to work for it. And since then, I've had rare glimpse into what most people think will solve their problem, which is nothing to do and all the money I could ever spend.
Yeah.
And, you know, it doesn't really work that way. And since it doesn't work that way, I'm just happy to have a place to come to every day with nice cool AC, and you know what I mean? I didn't have AC growing up, so having AC is a step above what I had. Mm-hmm. And I'm not somebody that says just do enough. I'm in love with the process. One day I might be up here, one day I might still be here, but I'm always going to be me and just be true to it. So
yeah, absolutely. It's a fun journey, whether with real estate or life or whatever. Make the journey awesome.
It is fun. Well, Richard, I appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah.
Moon Princess Halation, thank you for your comments. I don't know who you are, but you got a great sense of humor. And anyways, I'm going to be doing a podcast interview. Some of that stuff I just talked about right now, I'm going to be doing a podcast interview. A real good friend of mine. We actually known each other for probably 12 or 13 years. Didn't meet till college. Real good friend. He started a podcast, and I'm going to be talking about that early part of my life that shaped my childhood and all that stuff. I don't talk about it a lot because I think overall too many people lean in on that whiny shit and use it to pull on those heartstrings to get some more money out of you, Richard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but those things are important. Those whiny things are what connect, because while somebody may not talk about it, they relate to it. You know, we all had somebody who was a strong mentor, or maybe we didn't all, but there was a comment from somebody that meant something at some point, and maybe you had somebody as a day-to-day person, or maybe not, or somebody that broke your heart, or somebody that made you happy. You know, people are afraid to talk about the fact that they're humans, and then they want to know why they have a hard time with relating to each other. You can build that bridge.
I don't mind talking about it. I feel like when I talk about it, like I love my dad. Like I love the shit on my dad. My dad just met little Jasper Chaos for the first time yesterday. And he's been holed up because of Rona. He's been afraid. He's 70 and smokes like a train. He needs to sit this one out. You know what I mean? So we finally went over there. He met his grandson. And I hang out. We had fun conversation about when I was a kid, all the shit I was doing that he didn't know I was doing. You know, he always acts surprised. He's like, "What? You were doing that?" I was like, "Yeah, I was lighting shit on fire and acting a fool."
Sure.
Like I changed that a lot into adulthood. But I feel like when I talk about my childhood, like it's like taking shots at him. You know what I mean? But it's not. Like I love my dad and I love what he did for me. And I love what he did for our family. And I have a lot of perspective about how hard it was for him to get that done. You know what I mean? Where from the what he provided is tenfold, just like what I'll do for my family will be tenfold compared to what I got. You know, we've been constantly improving this whole time. I'm not knocking my dad's struggle. My dad had 10 times the work ethic that I ever had because the work he had to do was 10 times harder. We get to on this thing called the internet, right? and operating people come out of it. Yeah, didn't have that. When he got laid off, he had to go fucking knock on old farmers' doors and try to find some cows to feed and let them know that he wasn't a thief and he was going to make a hand and he could dig a ditch. And that's how the fuck he went about getting a job. He didn't get to go anywhere. He didn't have the money to fill out an ad in the paper and say, I'm the best hand in the world. You know what I mean? Somebody should hire me. You know, you had to go knock on businesses' doors to get a job. When I got laid off, I got this opportunity. You know what I mean? And then as I showed my journey, I got more opportunities. We're blessed tenfold from the people, our parents and everything else. So that's the way I think about it. That's why I don't really I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it in depth on that podcast, and I'll share it with y'all. But I'm not just going to sit around like Gary Vee and, you know, there was 7 of us living in one apartment. Like,
yeah,
I'll put it out there and let people know, and then I'm just going to let it go. And that'll be it.
Good. Yeah, we'll get it out there and share the story. It'll bring more. Yeah, it'll bring more people. They'll come in. They'll relate. They'll be inspired, and they'll feel like even if they won't tell you, they'll connect, and they'll be like, okay, let me hear this guy. He kind of understands where I'm coming from, and a million other people could too, but they don't have the balls to say, hey, this is my life. This is what it was. You know, and it takes a lot of courage to just tell people, hey, these are the things I grew up with. These are the challenges, some of the stupid things I did. And here's some of the awesome things I did. If you only talk about the awesome things, people dismiss you. He just brags all the time. You know,
I'm like at a weird point where I'm like, maybe I should go invest in a little bit of lifestyle. That way, you know, I'm progressing as a real estate investor. You know what I mean? We're set up to have our best year, and I'm still wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm down to one pair of shorts though. I'm in a pair of Texas flag swim trunks.
Yeah, man, my clothing budget is much better as an investor than it was in automotive. Shoes are a few $100. Now I can get tennis shoes for $40. Yeah, t-shirts. You know?
This right here was, we had to store a guy's stuff because he abandoned it in an apartment, so we stored it for a long time. And then it was like, I mean, I think the guy might have got killed or he's in jail. I don't really know, because it was a bunch of really nice stuff. And that's why we stored it, because we didn't want to do an eviction, throw all of his stuff out, and have the neighborhood come. So we did an abandonment notice. But we did that, and then we had to go get his stuff out of storage. And I was like, well, hell, he's the same size as me. Wardrobe right there.
There you go.
Anyways, no, it was just a shirt. I mean, I don't know what else I got, but I got this shirt for sure.
Yeah, it's part of the chonies too.
Yeah. I mean, I need a haircut. That's what I need. I'm worried that when I cut my hair, I'll look real fat. I'll look as fat as I am then. So
yeah. Well, let's get online, man. I got on mine. The damn thing said 1 at a time, please, and I was like, well, fuck you.
I've been having a good time though. New baby's here. So life's been good, Richard. I can't wait to chop it up again. Next time we're going to have to prepare more, have more.
Sure.
I want to show some of the stuff. Got a couple of more things we got to get by, and then anyway, I'll talk more about it later. But I appreciate your time, Richard. And
Appreciate you.
I'll talk when I get off of here, and we'll talk some more.
All right, man.
All right, later.
Yes, sir. Bye.